Hello, everyone. Welcome. It is time once again for us to come into another game of Change Stars Records of Miq'to. I hope everybody's had a wonderful time in the time since we last saw you here on stream. I feel like that's been at least 2 weeks, which may or may not be accurate because time is an illusion. I'm not going to go over too much because we don't have any sponsors currently, and it's just so wonderful to see you, but I won't deprive you of everyone else, so I'm going to bring us right into the action where the others are waiting, so let's jump right in.
Provider that's causing the problem. Their domain name server keeps up.
Yeah.
And I don't have the money to do a third-party service for a domain name server right now.
Hi, Red.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
I'm doing all right.
Just all right? Not fabulous, not wonderful, not stupendously outrageous?
Just all right.
All right, that's fair. Captain, how you doing?
Doing okay. I got to try the new Crazy Puffs from Little Caesars for the first time today, and they do live up to the hype.
Yeah, we ordered some Little Caesars earlier this week as well, and likewise, I ordered those, and they are phenomenal.
Especially, so I got one of each type, or one little box of each type.
Yeah.
That was my lunch today, by the way. The herb ones are the bomb. The pepperoni ones are good too, but not nearly as much the bomb.
Really? Because, like, there was a good amount of the spices put into the pepperoni ones we had, and I didn't have to put any of the, like, garlic sauce or anything on them. I just ate them straight, and they were
the pepperoni ones are amazing and don't need any sauce on them. It's just that the herb ones blow them out of the water because they're even better.
That's good to know. I will remember that for next time. Shay, I require more pizza. I literally just ate a slice of the leftover Little Caesars, so I should not eat more pizza. Let it work its way through my system.
There's a realistic risk of me deciding to get Little Caesars for dinner too.
I mean,
after that lunch.
Yeah, it might just be ordering like 2 of those and just calling it there, but oh my god, they were so good.
I don't know if I have Little Caesars in Canada.
You might. Who knows?
Google.
Yeah, check, because like they're kind of spread out too, and Little Caesars is one of those companies that like came back from the dead because they're an old franchise, and they used to be terrible because you'd only see them in an old chain of convenience stores that were like a knockoff Walmart called Kmart.
Yeah.
And you'd only ever... Go ahead.
Or if you were in their kind of home stomping grounds, like the Kansas City area, yes, there are in fact Little Caesars in Canada.
Yep, and they serve in my city.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah, try one opportunity you get.
Yeah.
Little Caesars, sponsor us. But they were terrible. They were terrible. Like 20 years ago, and all the way back, and it seemed like they were still holding out for some reason, and then you just never saw them for a while, and then all of a sudden there was a big media campaign of they did restructuring and changed up how they cooked everything, and they're really good now and still relatively cheap. Pizza, not cheap in quality, but cheap in price by comparison to everything else. You could get a large pizza from them for $5, and it was wild for a while.
It's $7 now, but that's
still reasonable. Where you're paying like $14 for Pizza Hut to get a fairly mediocre large pizza,
Yeah, and admittedly, sure, it's not as wide a variety of toppings, and if you get their Supreme is $10, okay, instead of 20 for an inferior Supreme that you could get somewhere else.
Yeah.
And the way that they survived was the death of Kmart was by setting up next to laundromats and in college towns,
Yep, pretty much.
where a
Yeah,
$5 pizza,
is
like,
gonna
all right,
last you a
that's
while.
that's 2 to 3 days worth of food for a college student right there. That's cheaper than you can get anywhere else.
It was wild how just the turnaround for them. Like even when I heard that they were like back and making pizzas again, it was like, oh no, I was there for the dark times. I don't know if I trust this. And then it was they were like, oh yeah, we have like the deep dish meal box and stuff. I coincidentally, you said it. I survived college, going to and from going to work from college. I would go in because I'd be done around noon, and I would go get the meal box, which was half of a deep dish and a drink for like $6.
Yeah,
And
I think
because
that sounds about right.
yeah, and because those deep dish squares were so thick, it made my dinner too. So I was eating 2 meals for $6.
Admittedly, when I was a kid, whenever we had to do like the really big comforters that we didn't really have our own facilities to dry at home just because our washer and dryer just weren't big enough for the king size comforter. We'd go down, so about once a month I'd be dragged down with my mother down to the laundromat, and there was a Little Caesars next door. And that was when they were still a lot of their business was selling pizza by the slice.
Mm.
So I'd get a slice of cheese pizza, and I really liked their crust. Which, I mean, with the cheese was okay and the sauce was passable, but the one thing they always had was a good crust. Even if everything else was shit at some various times, the crust was always at least decent. Which is kind of what kept which that and being cheap is what kept them in business. And then now they've got, and yeah. And I remember people bitched about them when I was in college, but it's like I actually prefer their pizza to the other brands in town.
Yeah.
Um, and then it's just so the viewers have tuned in to the old people talk
Sponsor
about.
us, Little Caesars. We will stick a logo in the corner and hype up your pizza every episode if you get in contact with us. Business email in the description. Anyways, let's play because we're here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. I am Shay, or Shay the Fae here on Twitch and Party Break Games. I am the Dreamweaver Dungeon Mistress or Game Master, whatever you want to call me. And I am running a game of Change Stars, a homebrew campaign, in which a futuristic setting of characters make contact with a primitive planet. That being said, everybody go ahead and introduce yourselves and who you're playing today, and tell me something you remember from our past session.
Hi, I'm Rindis. I'm going to be playing Dr. Rindis LaRusio, a former POW and now diplomat. What I remember from last session was us giving a debrief of what happened and notifying the Trinity that there's trouble afoot. Popcorn Dougler.
Oh, dude. I was in the middle of a yawn.
Sorry, I didn't know. Or
Perfect
did
timing.
I?
Okay.
Or did I? No, I didn't know that.
Hi, everybody. I am Duke of 93. I am playing Buyer the Thrain Pilot. And last session, something I remember is Buyer is trying to do a modification on their CCU. And probably still not quite okay for the last few days' events.
Mm-hmm.
Popcorn over Captain Carrion.
Hello, I'm Captain Carrion, also but better known as John. And today I will be playing Douglas Dog Crowley, the resident Jarhead. And the things I remember from last session are one, figuring out that the system is not nearly as potentially lethal as I thought because the wound system is incredibly forgiving. And two, next time I need next time I need longer distance and a bigger gun. Um, I really want to. So the dude with the punchable face unfortunately has very high stats and very good training.
His punchable face is quite dodgeable.
His punchable face is quite tough. As such, I have determined to invest in a number of talents that will allow me to do a better job of punching it with bullets. Yep.
Oh yeah, we also got a bunch of fish on the planets too.
All right.
Got to mention that. Sorry.
Well, that's everybody. So, you all had indeed. Oh, give me a moment. Okay, you all indeed have had a run-in with the human empire newly emerged from whatever recesses they had been hiding in, and they left you with a message that they were coming back, and this amidst your current efforts to make contact with the natives of the very Earth-like planet, and had been doing a pretty good effort, pretty good job at making friends with the local populace, or at least some of them. You know that they are currently, that one tribe is currently at war with another, two very powerful ones, and had a battle, or not so much a battle, but pretty much wiped out the presence of a strange parasitic creature that normally utilizes the intelligence of other creatures to travel and spread its seeds or offspring or whatever they are. But you had pretty much nuked it from orbit. That being said, I guess we'll find out what kind of effects that has on the local environment. So, I would like to come back in. You all had returned to the planet and spoke with the leader of the tribe you had been courting, and learned that with a number of their forces returning and moving to adjust to the new no longer fighting on two fronts, but able to move forces to focus solely on this war. As some of these soldiers are coming through the city, there is going to be a celebration for her youngest son, who is going to pick their guardians, as it were, and you all have been invited for that event. But it's not for another day. There is something going on for tomorrow, in which it is going to be held. So as the camera kind of zooms in, what did you all have anything that you wanted to do or get done? Or shall I just move along?
I don't think there was anything, no.
Okay.
Might have one thing though.
What's that?
So we essentially have like most of the day before the party's going, and
You got a whole day.
yeah, I'm guessing Buyer can't work on the CCU because that needs equipment that isn't here. But is Celios around that Buyer can talk with?
Yes, she is. So you actually find her kind of orbiting the CCU, curiously studying it. She was the one who is not so much a fighter like most of her species, but a little more inquisitive in nature.
She's the bread.
And as you approach, there is a beeping coming from the CCU, and she seems to be searching for it. But you recognize it as a message.
I'm gonna show her how to open up because Buyer trusts her. She's inquisitive. She wants to learn this stuff, and Buyer likes to share this technical knowledge. Like, alright, so you just go boop, and it is a message, and push the message button.
Boop.
When you push the message, you see that there is a. She just does jump a little bit, and at the strange words that come through, but there is a list that appears on the HUD, and she reaches out to like poke at it, trying to, or look around it, look behind it, and just generally trying to figure out how it's working. But the message comes through as addressing, what did you recall yourselves again?
Starlight One?
Galilosum.
Galilosum, yes.
Yeah. Message for crew Galilosum. There is a, there will be a large celestial event occurring on this planet. The 3 satellites of Miq'to are going to line up in a eclipse and eclipse themselves.
Triple eclipse.
And it shows it shows a little diagram, I guess, of it, and has some notes on it, and it says it's recommended that you be wary of following weather patterns. And the diagram that you see shows that it's not eclipsing with a star. It's just the 3 moons themselves are going to briefly line up.
Interesting. I wonder if that's going to cause any problems planet side. Is it something they should be notified of, or is this a common occurrence?
Celios, is it?
I would not say it is common, but it happens every now and then, and large storms follow. And it is it causes our waters to rise. It is a special event. I can take you to a. I could take you to a temple where they study it.
Oh, that'd be very nice. I
Mhm.
would like to observe it.
It is a blessed event when the eye of the goddesses look down. Normally, for most of us, we celebrate it as a blessing of sorts, but it can vary between tribes. That being said, it's likely going to mean that both our tribe and the other one we are at war with, which I will
the
find those
others.
notes.
The other ones. We don't speak their names, but I'm done. You can continue. If you know I'm hilarious, you can laugh.
Where is it? Yeah. The Shial, they will likely host their own celebrations. It will put a temporary pause in conflict.
Well, that's good. I don't want them trying to break traditions or try to sneak up on you all when you are wanting to be adherent to it.
If if uh, if anything, from what I hear about their rulers, they are as aggressive as they are. They do, or at least have in the past, held to a standard of conflict.
I see.
But yes, the temples themselves, they study the goddess's eyes.
The goddess's eyes. I like that.
Mhm. Would you like me to show you?
Yes, of course.
Please, yes.
So she'll start leading you to another part of the city, and she does pause to ask because she is from a village, and that is significantly less dense than this. But she is able to guide you to a stone structure that seems to be carved into the side of the mountain itself, but it reaches upward, and in the top of it, there is an opening, and as she leads you inside, and you would all notice there is still a lot of these natives staring at you curiously. Some a little more boldly than others. And an interesting thing about a part of this city, a lot of the buildings have those strange cloth canopies that double as bridges that crisscross from one building to another. This one does not. But it is very finely designed, I guess I would say. There is carvings in the side of it. There are uh, there are um, precious metals kind of built along it, and when you are guided inside, it is it is it has a large open space in the center with that opening in the top of the building that can view the sky. Uh, Around the ceiling, there are uh, various etchings of uh, various carvings painted, showing the celestial bodies, and um, Rindus especially, for all of you, but Rindus especially, it would indicate that they have some level of astrology, even if it is very
A rudimentary.
yes. And there are carvings along the walls as well, that have different colors painted into them, likely to indicate various tones or meanings of the words, similar to how they use their bioluminescence in conjunction with their own words. So this whole building itself is a useful tool for learning their writing systems. And inside there are some of the some other Miq'tans that are moving about, some of which are not wearing any cloth, but adorned in a number of metals and jewelry that are pierced at various places, some through their sails. And one of them, an older one, notices you enter, and before she reaches you, there is one of these jewelry adorned who approaches and calls out, "What are the children of other gods doing here?" And the older one reaches out, and snatches at her shoulder in what would be what you would probably take for a sign of dominance over the other, because she quickly goes quiet, and this older one steps forward and says, "Forgive my sister. What brings you here?" And Celios steps forward and says, The Sky Children have requested, the humans, corrects herself, have requested that...
No, I'm not human. I'm Thrain.
There's two humans, and our friend here, as she said, is a different species. Not all Sky Children are humans. There are many different species.
Sky Children's a good enough collective word for everything that's not from here.
That's fair.
A little bit better than aliens.
Oh, okay. The Sky Children have requested to learn about the goddesses. And this older one kind of like tilts her head a little bit and says, I would not have expected this. I imagined you had your own gods, goddesses.
We do, but learning about others is a way to improve oneself.
Very well. So she starts walking you through all these carvings and writings, and it starts to point to various various depictions, and says most of us we follow beliefs that center around the first of the Miq'tions, or our life-giving star itself. We call it To. It's our first father, the one who sired us all. The 3 moons that circle our planet each represent each of Toval's mates, their guardians. All of them are offer benefits in their own right. There is Lok, who is the wisest of them, Tira, who is their hunter, and Isia, who is the most beautiful of them. All of them are fertility and are guardian deities. Va, their sire, our sire, acted to teach the first Miq'tions how to live and grow. She looks to the rest of you if you all have any questions.
Rentis is just taking notes.
And I am unsure if you have heard, but tomorrow is the next time that that the moons will align, and the goddess's eyes will be on us. So we are setting aside time to celebrate and gain their blessings.
I have a question. How do you know when the goddesses are going to line up?
She says with very careful study and watchful eyes. She points to another open chamber that kind of breaks off, and you can't make out the details, but you see that they have a working. They have a mechanical. What's it called?
I know the thing you're talking about, but I don't remember what it's called either.
What are the big telescopes?
Huh?
What are the big telescopes?
No.
Planetary model.
Yeah, the or something.
Or orrery?
Orrery.
Orrery.
Thank you.
Yeah. They have an orrery. So they understand math and have probably put this together over the course of many centuries.
I was gonna lean to look at where she pointed out without actually going over like, oh, really cool.
Everybody give me a scrutiny.
School.
Curtain time.
Leveled up Scroots. Let's go.
I got the one.
I got 3 and a 1 in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little scream.
So, all of you notice that there are a number of these Miq'tions kind of watching you, mostly at a distance. There is for Douglas and Rindis, you both pick up that they have varying levels of interest. And Rindis, you would further understand that interest is ranging anywhere from like disdain born of doubt towards absolute fascination and admiration. You would probably be the one that picks up that that some of them are probably rethinking their beliefs, and some of them are probably more wary of other entities that are out there beyond their star system. Some of them may or may not consider you minor deities, having heard that you blew up, that you cratered a
Demon.
yeah.
You cratered the demon.
The one that is speaking to you has a very unshaken demeanor and seems to be of a mind that actually go ahead and give me an insight.
All of us are just those two.
Just Renda, she's the one who rolled highest. Okay.
Oh, I guess important question. Has this edge actually gone down?
Yeah, you did have time to rest.
Oh, well, let me drop all this edge.
Yep.
Not that that matters. There's that one there. Although I guess I would have not had any successes.
Yeah.
I'll push. All right.
All right, you're not exactly sure what she's thinking.
No idea what she's thinking.
But she is. Whoops.
Ooh.
He said whoops, and I said whoops afterwards. He used.
Whoops, whoops.
Sorry, I'm
whoops.
just adjusting volume that I accidentally changed.
Uh,
But she shows you around, explains that the eclipse happens. Sometimes it's only several years. Sometimes it might take close to a century. But because there are 3 orbiting satellites of varying sizes, that each of their representing deities have various blessings that are offered. Certain ceremonies are brought about if a certain moon might be more visible than another, and as she explains all this, she says, "Are there any services you wish to partake in as guests of our deities?"
what are the possible services? Because we're kinda don't know anything.
Do you seek to understand? Do you seek to understand something or someone, or need someone to confide in? You might speak to. You might seek the wisdom of Lok. If you are looking for services in regards to hunting and acquiring wealth or meals, or just general combat, then perhaps you would want to seek services offered by Tira. And if you are seeking to perhaps attract a mate, then our priestesses of Isia might be the ones to speak to. Or perhaps you wish to simply show your respect to Va.
Fire looks to the other two, see what they think.
Considering we are fairly new to this, what would be the most practical and respectful ways to go about that? We are curious to learn more. You guide us through the rituals and show us what needs to be done.
We can provide you with a ceremony if you are willing to offer a. She tries to think of the right word that translates. If you are willing to offer a boon or a sacrifice or something to offer the temple. Va himself prefers that we all grow as a society and continue to learn as we age. It is the duty of the 3 goddesses to protect Val. I can have a priestess of each perform a ceremony for you if you are willing to provide the temple with something.
Do we have something to provide the temple, though?
This can be anything that offers benefit to our people. It can be service, it can be wealth, it can be whatever you might have on your mind.
Very well. I think just a basic service will be fine then.
So was there something you wanted to offer them for their time?
Rindis is not a religious woman, so she is just going to do whatever the recommended amount is.
Okay.
Yeah, you are asking the wrong person.
Yeah. Fire doesn't have anything to give. They were planning on going over how to make gliders with C, so our friend one, like, was planning to teach. Why am I not so jungled? Celios, how to do gliders, like how to make them.
So, I have a recommendation. Perhaps if you were to tell us of your own stars and your own deities, it could be a cultural exchange.
Well, humans on Earth have many different religions, both polytheistic or monotheistic or belief-based. There are so many different ones I could share with you.
That will be enough. So she'll guide you further into this this temple, and there's a basin of water in the center, and they begin to, and she calls 3 other Miq'tions who are adorned in these the same kind of jewelry, and they each approach you all one at a time. The first kind of approaches and kind of beckons you forward to her, and she reaches out. And who would like to be the first?
I'll go first.
Okay. So she reaches out and says, "Focus on my sails for a moment." And her claws come up, her very claw-like nails come up, and you can feel her hands on your face as she kind of leans super close, invading any personal space you might have if you so had any.
Personal space.
Yep. That's why I said if you still have any. But you see her, like studying you, and there is a moment where she says, "You have no sails, so it is a little harder. But I think I understand." There is a lot troubling you.
Me? Are you sure?
Yes.
Well, do tell.
She studies you a little longer. And her hands start to kind of like get a little feely, and she circles you and says, "You have been in conflict recently."
Oh, that very much is true, yes.
Conflict is good for growth.
Mm-hmm.
What do you take from that?
I am a scientist. I am not one who normally is involved in conflict. So I don't know what to take from it personally.
If you are alive, then there will always be times when you must protect yourself.
True enough.
We may be blessed by our respective deities, but we are still living things. There will always be others that would seek to do harm. And she leans back a bit then, and traces her nails along your forehead, and then steps away, and the second one approaches and says, "What is it that you seek most of all?"
Knowledge.
Knowledge. You have come to a good place for that.
This is what I'm hoping.
And should that... And what type of knowledge do you seek the most?
Does not matter. I am a scientist, a scholar. Any knowledge of your people, knowledge of your practices and beliefs. I am just here to understand.
And she kind of nods and reaches out and traces her fingernails along the center of your chest, and says, "You will always need someone backing you to seek the treasure that is your knowledge. Remember to always accept help when when it is offered." And she steps back, and then the third one steps forward, and while the first one got close and handsy, she pretty much practically presses herself against you, and her tail wraps around you. And she says, "What gives you the most joy?"
In this exact moment or overall?
And She kind of smiles at that, and her sails flicker colors and says, both.
Well, considering, I suppose it would still be my previous answer. I am here for knowledge, and I love the pursuit of knowledge. Learning about your people has been an experience.
Then continue to immerse yourself in our culture. You will find many joys and much beauty to satisfy yourself with.
I am fairly certain that that is true.
And then she steps back, and the first one you had spoken to before returns or steps forward again, and she's got a roll of leather wrapped up, and says in completion of your respect towards our goddesses, I would ask that you send us some knowledge of your stars and your deities.
Oh, happily,
And she
easily.
Sorry?
Oh, she just said happily, easily.
Yep, and she extends this rolled up bit of leather to you.
I'll take it.
Inside, you will find written in their writing system, which comes in different colors, which you may have to do some translating, but you would pick up that, judging by the iconography and stuff in it, it is some information on their beliefs.
Shit, how am I gonna get this information to them? I mean, I'll take it, but Rendis is gonna have to figure out how to get them something to be able to have this, because fairly certain I can't just give them a data pad and say go nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, are there like teaching programs and stuff that can work off of like the holograms we have?
Sorry?
Are there like teaching programs, like, you know how in like sci-fi movies and stuff they'll show the artificial intelligent hologram that'll just do like teaching programs, show people stuff, go over history? Do we have those in this? Like a literal encyclopedia AI that can just give them some information?
There's...
Little Palm Pilot
Yeah,
Cortana that pops up and is like, here is the history of Earth.
there's probably something like that.
I would like to look into that and try to get one.
Okay.
So I was muted there, but I thought Rick was responding, so I didn't notice for a moment.
Oh, sorry. No. You were muted. I didn't hear anything.
So, if I may, I was thinking that the computer would probably be able to translate, and on the ship we would likely have some way to synthesize a waterproof, more or less paper that we just use colored ink that acts like theirs.
Or I could just get the little person to do the talking.
True.
So, was there anything else you wanted to do here?
Not for me.
Okie dokie. So as you all are leaving,
Buyer wouldn't mind going through the thing if they'd do it for
oh
her.
yeah, they'll offer it for everyone.
Yeah, Buyer's more than one to do that.
More than willing.
But as you all are stepping out, various ceremonies completed, Celios starts guiding you elsewhere in the city. You would all have picked up by now that there are some interesting mechanical structures in the city as well. They seem to have a very solid focus on maintaining a healthy water supply. There are some places that are like kind of like a fishery or meat farms of some kind. Places where they can keep a steady supply of protein. The buildings all seem connected by that same kind of fabric-y material in different places. Was there anything else you wanted to see in the city?
Not at the moment for me, but
Nor I, honestly.
maybe later, because we might be able to. Like, if you're interested, I could teach you the concept to make a glider. We could see about what here would be able to be used for that.
There is... I would like that. I want to learn how these things work. There are plenty of mechanical marvels in this city. The way that they pump the water straight up through the mountain. Things like that.
We wouldn't.
Sorry, go on.
So, we won't start with mechanical flight at first, but once we get gliding down, we can definitely start with self-propelled.
How do you get those? How do you get the metal boats and the shell you walk around in to work?
Well, Buyer's going to go into details about how those work, but not the university degree needing deals, the basic things like how the thrusters will propel the ships forward and how there's servos inside the machine that allows it to move.
So you tell her about electricity and power and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And she is fascinated by this. As you all are walking, though, there are some interesting things you may pass by. There is you see a number of them moving from one building to another, crossing the paths that the bridges offer, and offering things to one another. There is one spot where you see a couple of Miq'tions that look like they have been maimed at some point in their life, who look a little bit downtrodden. There is one building where someone standing outside is boasting about how their servees, I don't know, how their staff can be like any male, if you were so inclined. There's different things that you can see in the city if you wanted to seek anything out. Or talk to anyone. We'll take that as a no.
Yeah, I was thinking.
I'm good.
So as this is going on, there's one more thing you notice. As the day winds on, you probably get something to eat before traveling back. There is another. There is a bit of a excited, not uproar, but a bit of energy as a number of them kind of congregate to a primary pathway, kind of like looking over the bridges and stuff and staring, as a number of soldiers appear to return, all in their armor. You notice many of them are quite young, but they seem to be heading in the direction of the center of the city where the queen resides.
The queen.
The queen, their ruler. Inserlio says, "It looks like a number of those of our warriors have returned, and no doubt many of them are hoping for the chance to become a guardian tomorrow."
So, how will the prince choose? Is there like a competition, or is it just people that he likes?
Both. It's usually it's usually someone who is someone who is capable of protecting, or at the very least providing a very beneficial service to the prince and keeping them healthy. So when the moons align tomorrow, the waters rise, they will all likely swim together, and anyone who chooses to try to show themselves off will have to compete to get the prince's attention. Sometimes it can be aggressive.
Oh,
Hmm.
does sound like it, yeah.
Should we be concerned for anyone's safety?
I do not think so. Some of them may get hurt, but nothing life-threatening. We're not like we once were hundreds of years ago.
What happened then?
Well, people died.
Oh, fun.
It was only those who were strongest would be allowed to protect their potential mate.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Good to know.
Is that something that you'd be interested in?
Oh, I do not think I am. I do not think I am capable of showing myself off enough.
Well, that's not quite what I asked.
Any Miq'to would be honored to become a guardian.
Well, maybe if this isn't your time, next time we'll.
Well, especially trying to get the attention of our ruler's youngest son would be difficult.
Many would be fine for his attention.
Yes.
This is the prince, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I imagine there's going to be a lot of people. A lot of them trying. Well, that certainly is going to be an entertaining ritual to watch.
Do you think you might get involved?
Oh no. I have no reason to do such a thing.
Marriage is a bit different for my kind as well.
What is marriage?
The bonding of partners.
Oh.
Yes, in the Trinity it works a bit differently. But the concept remains the same. Partners look after each other, protect each other, and mate and have children. It's all fairly universal. It's sort of how we go about it.
The prince will likely select several.
Yes, I imagine he would.
If I were to even stand a chance, I would have to have something to offer. I don't really have that.
You have any prior connections to the prince?
No.
Hmm.
And my first real interaction was when I introduced you all to our leader.
Well, maybe that could serve as your advantage. You are a diplomat, after all.
You are quite intelligent too.
Mm-hmm.
I would need to have something that I would need to put some way to show that.
You think we could get her a stun baton, work it to her advantage? If she were to compete, that is.
Are you going to teach me how to make whatever a stun baton is?
Maybe not make it, but let you use one in the combat.
Bar looks down at their own little sun staff like, I don't know if that's waterproof. And I don't think that's a good idea to try using water.
Could you modify it to be so? I'm more just thinking. I feel like non-lethal options would not be a problem to provide for them. You know, we wouldn't want to be giving. We said no on giving them the actual weapons, but stun weapons might be okay, especially if they remain in hand-to-hand combat proximity with them.
Fire actually like takes the sun staff off her thigh, just kind of clicks it so it extends and closes up again. Like maybe sense it again, desense it.
I'm thinking practically, it might give her an edge. It would not violate any existing treaties.
But we could also teach her how to like make the collapsible and pull staff that's actually durable, because most collapsible things without the actual reinforcement don't really work that well. But
there are some instances where someone has learned how to make rust-resistant metals, or was skilled at making particular items, something that's useful. I've helped put together some of our buildings back home, not to make them secure, but a lot of that is already done. I would need to show my use. Not 100% sure how to do that.
Not too sure either. But if you did bring engineering skills into the mix, it might be worthwhile.
Well, maybe. How do I show that off, though?
With the technology in hand.
They have to bring something you made with those skills to show off that skill.
Show me how to make a glider.
Okay. That was Buyer's original intention, so that's going to be
Cool.
no. I was thinking about showing her how to do a squirrel suit first.
Squirrel suit. Squirrel tactics.
I just try to do the glider first. Worry about the more complicated squirrel suit that could potentially end in grievous injury. More grievous injury than the glider would. Get later.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a mechanics.
Where's mechanics? Trying to think of anything that I can use for bonuses at the moment. And Rindis help me for a bonus.
I probably have at least an academic know-how. Don't
And
you
we use-
agree, Shay?
Sure.
Okay, there we go. We're also about to lose Captain. You may want to close it there once we do the roll.
Ah, I didn't even get to the ceremony. All right.
Yeah, don't want him to miss that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just a +1 to the roll.
Yep.
Here we go. And we're going to push. Because we want this to really work. And we can only push once, right?
Yes. What would you like to buy with your twists?
Want to get this done quickly because we only have the day.
Mm-hmm.
Want to make it... I have 3 things I can buy, right?
Sorry?
I said I have 3 things I can buy with the twists?
Yes.
Okay. So quick.
You want to make sure it's like something like durable or won't break easily.
Yes, durable, and want to make it safe as we can.
Super flashy, so everyone's impressed.
All right. So, what does this glider look like?
Well, I think we're going to use the fabric. If we can get our hands on it, we're going to use the fabric that's used for the bridges between buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is durable.
I would like you to give me probably a scrutiny on this fabric, by the way. Now that you're actually handling it.
Scrutiny, go. I'm just going to push it because I'm scared. Scrutiny, go. 3.
Okay. So, you didn't see where they were making this from, but you know, back at the village you were at, the Riverside Village, that Sir Leos was from, they did have a building where they were producing this kind of silk, and you would notice that it is extremely versatile and extremely durable. You know how they say that spider silk is the toughest silk,
Mm-hmm.
but there's no way to actually harvest it. It's something like that, except you don't know where this comes from or what this comes from.
So it's an organic-based silk that's really strong.
Possibly. You just know that it's really strong
Okay.
and
Then
versatile. And probably the reason that they're using it to make rope and bridges.
Nope. Glider's going to be more like a hang glider style thing at first, because we don't really have enough time to make a whole ultralight plane type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Want to try to make it large enough that you could fit 2 people in, but just primarily focusing on 1.
Okay. All right. So I feel like as the two of you are making this, we get a shot of you all putting it together, and the camera kind of pans upwards and into the stars, and there's a moment where it continues to shift before it falls on a station of sorts, and as it transitions inside the station, there is we see Alonzo in a vat of some sort, and he appears conscious, and it looks like their injuries where they were shot are being mended. But there's someone outside who says, or there is a mechanical voice that says, um, you may perhaps be the finest specimen of a human, of a human, but that does not mean that you cannot be killed. You must be careful. And through the mask, there's a reply, and he says, "Yes, of course. I will keep that in mind. But we cannot have them. We cannot have them wandering this system for much longer. Now that we're nearly where we have nearly everything we need, we should begin to move soon, don't you think?" And there's a pause before the mechanical voice replies and says, "Current calculations have many unknowns. We know they are coming. I recommend waiting just a little bit longer." And the reply from Alonzo is, "Very well, Mother." And we'll cut it there.
Alrighty. Well, unfortunately, our third player, Captain, is feeling under the weather, so we are just going to end it here so that he doesn't miss out on anything, and everybody just give him the well wishes for a speedy recovery. And that's going to be it for tonight. So y'all have a wonderful day. I just saw the message. Mommy. Anyways, y'all have a wonderful night. We will see you around for tomorrow's session of Brindlewood Bay, where the mommies will be back. Instead of mommies, they're grandmommies. At least 2 out of 3 of them are. One of them is just a lesbian and didn't have children. It's fine.
Just cats.
She can still be a grandmommy.
There is actually a talent in there where she can get a cat, and I was thinking about it.
Sorry, Rex, you have a cat in your apartment, you just haven't.
Oh, well then, you're right. I haven't mentioned them in a while. I'm going to add that talent because I do remember that now. So I'm going to add that talent so that it actually has some mechanical uses. I'll link it to you later. But here, we'll wrap up. And y'all have a wonderful